factor. You know, I was at Palace a long time, and I think it was time for a change. And you know, once I knew Wigan was interested, I think there was only one club I wanted to go to.
Yeah, there was a few clubs mentioned about, you know, they were interested in you, but you chose Wigan. Why was that?
I sat down with the gaffer. I spoke to the gaffer, and he was positive. You know, I think the club at the moment's on a high, and you know, I think it's a great time to sign. You know, 7th in the league, going well. Main reasons.
Steve Bruce was a big reason then.
Yeah, you know, when I sat down and spoke to him, he spoke highly of the place, spoke highly of the players, the staff, and you know, there was a feel around the training ground. It was lively, it was buzzy, you know, it was a team on a high, and I just thought I'd like to be part of that.
You're coming at a time as well when Wilson Palacios has just left. Obviously, there's going to be comparisons made. Are you quite confident still in the group?
I'm a different player to Wilson. You know, I think, you know, Wilson was fantastic for Wigan. I think, you know, it just proved the £14 million move. You know, you've got to be some player to go for that sort of money. But as I said, I'm a different player. You know, I've got strengths that he probably hasn't got, and he's got strengths that I haven't got. So, as I say, I'm a different type of player.
And how do you see yourself adapting back into the Premiership as well?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, you know, but I think it'll be a couple of weeks before I'm out there, as I've been out for 6 weeks with an injury, so it was my first day training yesterday. So, but yeah, I'm confident. I'm confident in my own ability, so I'm looking forward to it.
And what do you think of the club's ambitions then that you've seen as you've come in? You know, did you want to try and push up onto Europe? I
don't see why not. I think the club's 3-4 wins away from safety. Once you get them, I don't see why you can't push on.
Again, another pull to come here as well.
Yes, you know, they're a world-class team. They're not at the top of the league for no reason. But as we're at home, I don't see why we can't give them a game.
Brilliant, thank you.
Just quickly, I suppose a lot of talk about Middlesbrough. How close were you to kind of signing for them before coming in?
I was close. I'd done a medical, more or less agreed personal terms, but you know, once I knew Wigan was interested, I wanted to speak to him, and you know, it was a tough decision, but you know, I think it was just right. It was Wigan, the feel of the play, it just felt right, and that was the reason for it.
Well done. Great. Bring the other guys up.